I can't wait, excuse me, to jump into this one.
Can't be ready, can't wait, doesn't matter because it's gonna happen soon. It is, of course, two massive teams, but two very different stories at this event. And I like that little video we had before because I feel like this event, it has been a little bit back and forth.
Yeah.
Every single team has lost a series so far at this tournament. It's very rare we get that. Usually you see one team who will dominate through pool play, will dominate through Saturday, but no, everyone has found a weakness, and it's whether Quadrant can find that weakness in Spacestation. We've seen them lose already. Maybe this series layout can help them. I'm looking at it, and it does lean towards SSG, but there are moments there. There are game types there that I do think Quadrant have to take advantage of.
Everyone's record has a blemish. Spacestation up against Quadrant for the first time this season. So often they've been compared to one another. And is this the time for Quadrant to put them to the sword and progress? Or will Spacestation swat them aside? King of the Hill on recharge up first. Shields up, weapons hot. We're underway.
Spacestation have been immaculate when it comes to Game 1 so far this tournament. They are one of the best teams, and at King of the Hill, they are probably the second best team we have at this tournament in the league when it comes to this game type in general. So Quadrant, they need to match the pace of Spacestation, and it's something the desk have been asking. What happens when we see these two teams go against each other? Is the pace just going to clash in a way that slows things down, or is it going to be absolute mayhem? Are people throwing themselves in the hill? Is everyone going to be dashing off spawn? It's going to be a great series.
Both teams trading back and forth. 3 dead. Chance for Quadrant to put some time on the board. Pznguin though.
Enemy
shut
team
down
took the hill.
SLG rather quickly. Sica will join him for a quick nap. Ego top tower caught a little bit unaware, and Lqgend will eventually get that kill. Not much to separate them in terms of time in the first hill. You can see both teams giving each other so much respect.
And Pznguin doing so much at the moment as well over towards blue. He was holding bottom blue to keep players out of the hill, but instantly responding to teammates to make sure they shut down that shock rifle. He picks up 3 kills in a very short space of time, which just forces Quadrant back and makes them rethink their strategy to try and capture this bottom middle hill.
3 dead for Quadrant. SLG looking to even the odds somewhat. It's a messy fight, it's scrappy. Somehow, eventually, both survive. SLG will go down. It's time for Spacestation to perhaps shift through the gears just a touch. Sica's being caught unaware with his back turned. Easy kill for StelluR.
Enemy about to score.
As quickly as the game can get away from you. Spacestation looks as though he's going to put the first hill on the board. SLG is falling again. Eco with a double kill. Sica trying to be an influence here, trying to keep this one alive, but gets a kill. That could be enough, but SSG have already got so much time here.
Yeah, Sica did well to make this competitive at bottom middle, but Spacestation, they stepped out of the hill at the right time to ensure that Quadrant off spawn didn't have a numbers advantage. They weren't vulnerable to grenade, but 3 go down. Could be 4, but StelluR holds strong, and StelluR's been a key part to this last minute or so for Spacestation. He was controlling long haul, he was forcing them off of the trippy box, and now he's making sure he dominates blue as well. StelluR looking good early on here on Sunday.
SSG currently outslaying Quadrant by 5.
Enemy team took the hill.
See that in the scoreline. That's why SSG are having more success.
Enemy team
They're about to take the lead. But Quadrant still have a say in this first hill. This one's not gone away from them just yet.
Should go away from them now, but they're still competing for it. Spacestation want to make sure they control up towards C-Plat before they get this hill, but you don't want to give Quadrant too much of a chance, because Quadrant are a team who can just sneak hills away from you if they get the proper setup. A good competitive nature from Spacestation, be sliding up quickly, forcing that hill time away from Quadrant here. They just need to dip their toes into this one, but Quadrant doing so well to wrestle back, but finally, SSG get the first point on the board here.
Hill moves to C-Plat.
Enemy team took the
SSG in prime position to hold it down. They haven't quite got control of long haul just yet. Bound has stepped out to be an influence over that side, but he's faced with 2 members of Quadrant. Ultimately has to give it up. And as a result, they're going to step out of the hill. Back blue. The point of contention here is it's a 2v2 split.
Quadrant really just trying to pinch Spacestation at the moment, but when you take a 1v1 against Pznguin, he's got that head glitch. He's more than happy to take the fight, and he's able to get 2. Sica was able to trade, but Spacestation should still be able to control blue. But the Quadrant are doing very well. Even though they're staggering their pushes, they are baiting and switching enough of the way. It's frustrating Spacestation a little bit. They're not able to get those solid kills and then continue with control. It's almost what we expected. It's almost what the desk was suggesting, with both teams playing at a certain pace where they're always pushing the narrative of, we need to get into a fight. Let's engage straight away. It's creating for some very quick action time after time off spawn.
Enemy team took the hill.
Both teams wasting no time before engaging with one another. 2 dead for SSG. Lqgend just trying to hold down blue. StelluR and Pznguin over towards long haul. TchiK will get picked on the way, but Bound's falling with him. Both teams have very similar progress on this hill. The next round of play is going to be so important. But you can see there's a clear game plan from Quadrant. Lqgend's only interested in surviving back here.
Yeah, back blue is one of the most important positions for this hill. Spacestation need to get Lqgend out of this position. Let's see how they get him out. Let's jump into a listen-in with Spacestation Gaming.
One shot, sneaky.
Keep bunkering up. One shot, long haul on the right. Sneaky. Shot no. One shot. C-boxes in long haul.
Yep.
Long haul, me down. Long haul, me down.
You can look, I can watch you. Watching you.
One shot hill. Sneaky. Shot to glass. He's shocking long haul.
He's got tower, 2 tower.
Long haul.
One shot tower, 2 tower. Top tower, 1 shot.
Shot hill, one shot hill, and bottom mid. One shot hill, bottom mid.
One shot sneaky.
One shot triple, the blue tunnel.
One shot sneaky bound.
Blue tunnel, one shot, and in hill. Do that in hill. Put hill now. I might just need to shoot hill. Shoot hill, this one's not shot, One shot in hill, Sica. Nice,
Weak. Sneaky one.
Bottom beer. Bottom top. 2 PR.
One shot bottom tower, 1 shot bottom anchor. One shot
I get this camo. Mangler one shot, stood there. Top.
Going back to Sawa.
Still Mangler again, guys. Mangler, no, 2 bottom beer.
One shot bottom tower. Mid bridge side.
Turn one and 2 bottom beer. I can help you, Hillbird. Zane. Don't shoot. Triple stack in mid bridge. Triple stack, 2 shot. Blue tunnel, 2 shot. 3 there. They're gonna get in. They need 2 ticks. Okay. You guys gotta shoot hill. Get him out.
The whole team's there. Got one, another one shot out there.
Okay. Look around. Turbine. Mid bridge in either one.
I mean, not a single Quadrant member was able to escape when they were called out, but what they did well right at the end there is they all barreled towards that hill to get those final 2 moments, just catching Spacestation off guard as they tried to set up. Tied up 1-1. 1 minute 27 left on the clock here. Both of the first 2 hills have taken a good amount of time, which means this 3rd hill could be very vital for this game.
Will Quadrant have taken confidence? Have they studied the film, watching back what LBT was able to do? They've seen success against this roster. What a year Lqgend has had. What a year all these boys have had. How they would like to go even better. Perhaps even get to a grand finals. You have to beat teams like this. Pznguin comes out on top. Huge kill. The Quadrant have made so much progress on this 3rd hill.
That hill could have been Quadrant's with a kill there onto Pznguin. Would have been a big difference maker. That's what Pznguin's there on the squad for. Always consistent, always ever present. Doesn't matter if it's objective work, whether he has to be an assisting player for his team, or stepping up right now as the main slayer. Do a little bit of everything. Will get taken down by grenades though, and it's a 2 versus 2 trade. Make it a 3 versus 2. And Quadrant again now scoring here in Elevator.
Quadrant could be about to take the lead. Have SSG got anything in the tank to break this setup? They've given it up. They're going to sacrifice this one instead. Play for blue tunnel.
One saving grace for Spacestation. That hill did not take long, which means they still have plenty of time on the clock to get blue tunnel here. And they should be the first team to get there. They can set up around it. They gave up Elevator once they noticed it was only a couple of ticks away. Bound's able to get the camouflage as well. A lot of these camos have gone towards SSG, and this was my worry coming into this series. Spacestation very good at controlling any sort of power-ups on the map, and Quadrant need to keep tabs on there.
Quadrant have sacrificed the camouflage, so they hold the lead. Lqgend and long haul gets 1, a little bit of damage onto Eco. In fact, half shields. 2 bursts required to eliminate him from the game no longer. The shields recharge. TchiK's going to take the fight. TchiK's going to continue to hold forward. StelluR gets SLG elsewhere. Back blue. Sica's just trying to survive in tower. As important as Lqgend was to hold back blue, StelluR has the same job, as does Bound. They've managed to get a couple of kills, but 3 go down for Quadrant here, and an opportunity for Spacestation to perhaps tie the game.
Yeah, this is a difficult hill to try and just play time on, and with SLG going down, likelihood is we're going to 2-2, we're going up to Whirlpool for the 5th, and what could be, you'd imagine, the definitive hill in this game. Because with this setup now, Spacestation surely will score blue. But Quadrant, with the spawns they've had over towards Longhall, they can't even set up for Whirlpool here. We're tied up 2-2. What a great opener here on Championship Sunday for the competitive play.
What a decision made by SSG. Leave Pznguin in the hill, rotate towards new. 4 spawns Longhall. Expertly done. Everything has been done with a purpose on Championship Sunday. Lqgend's bottom elevator. Bound took him out of commission for now. Now all Pznguin has to do is hold this bottom catwalk. Do as much damage to anybody on the cross. Lqgend in the crosshairs, but does a good job backing him down. Pznguin forced to put it in reverse.
Enemy team took the hill.
This is a good push so far. It's 3v3. And with 30 seconds and counting left in that clock, we could be going to overtime.
Likelihood that this will be the last hill, but it's been Bound with that shock rifle who has really made a difference. But with him going down, maybe the opener now for Quadrant. But I say that 2 more players go down. Camo is up. Good teamwork though from Quadrant to give accurate cover to make sure that the camouflage guy could get away. But I think maybe, yeah, Sica just about steals away with it. So there's still a chance here for Quadrant. 2-2, 15 seconds remaining, but Spacestation have the lead.
StelluR sacrificed himself.
Oh, he got spotted.
Forward. Tried to kill that camouflage player, but he survives. Sica continues to hold forward. 6 seconds and counting down. SSG have stepped out of the hill, all 4 dead for Quadrant. Camouflage was not the influence it needed to be. And SSG continued to hold. Quadrant are only up to a full complement of players right now. Grenades come in, but they're not going to be enough. As Spacestation claim the 5th hill and what will surely be the game.
2 seconds remaining. No one's going to be able to step in, and it will be SSG as they continue their fine form in map number 1. It just seems to start well for SSG. They are so quick out of the blocks. And at King of the Hill, they seem to be near unstoppable. They had a 79% win rate on King of the Hill so far this year. And of course, that increases now with yet another victory. It doesn't matter what map. SSG, for me, were the pioneers of gameplay when it comes to King of the Hill. When it was first released, when it was first added to Halo Infinite, it was SSG who really showed us how it was played.
Taking a look at the stats. StelluR with 22. Lqgend leading the lobby in kills with 23. But as you can see, in the KDA column, it was all SSG.
Over 6k for both Eco and Lqgend. SLG, though, just the 4.3k damage, but it was a very tight game. I think Quadrant will be happy with how competitive it was, considering how successful Spacestation have been so far in the tournament, not just on map 1, but King of the Hill in general. But maybe it was this first hill that just slipped away from Quadrant a little bit. And even though they replied well, even though they took the lead, it was the hills that allowed Spacestation just have that extra little bit of a setup. They were really able to punish the European roster. But a great opener. As I said, I think we're going to have a very competitive series here. And even though we've not seen Quadrant against Spacestation so far this year, it's been a map that's been mouth-watering. It's been a game, sorry, that's been mouth-watering that we've all wanted to see just because the playstyles are so good. And it did not disappoint. Very fast-paced and a lot of individual skill that mattered. The shock rifle shots from Bound, I think, maybe just pushed Spacestation over the line.
Up next, Game 2, StelluR on Solitude. Dan, you often have some tidbits to share, some statistics. Statman Dan, what have you got?
It's a newer map and mode, of course, but Quadrant have yet to lose it so far at this tournament or this season. We've only had it for a couple of tournaments. Spacestation have lost it twice, won it 3 times. So you would slightly lean towards Quadrant. Solitude in general, you've got a lot of Halo 5 players on both of these rosters who will know how to play Plaza. They'll know which spawns you need to be controlling, denying, and all of the good stuff when it comes to any sort of map control. I think this could be a very even game, going tit for tat, and we might see both teams get to around 30 kills quite similarly. But then after that 30 kills, if we see one team break away with a sniper rifle, that's going to be the biggest difference for me. Who can control that snipe and who can make sure they're hitting those shots?
Well, we know StelluR is a big fan of snipe. Let's make no qualms about it. All 8 players in this lobby, if they get the sniper rifle in their hands, they can be effective.
Yeah, we always talk about Slayers, snipers, the guys who are going to be picking it up, but sometimes that weapon will naturally come into your hands, and it's about doing the damage with it when you have that opportunity. Sure, you can pass it off to a teammate in certain scenarios, but with how fast both these teams play, you're not really going to have that time to suddenly be thinking about, okay, maybe I should get sniped, you could get sniped. Pick it up, do what you can with it, and if you have to, get it away from other players. Make sure you are not giving it up easily. Pull out your battle rifle if you have to. Don't try and take too many unnecessary shots, trying to hit those no-scopes, trying to be fancy. Get into a position where you can actually control the other team with that sniper rifle.
Head-to-head, Pznguin and Lqgend. The European superstar with a current 1.28, and Pznguin just trailing him with a 1.24. These two players are going to be so important for their teams to dictate which way this one's going to go. And for Lqgend and Quadrant, it's ambitions of tying up the series and pushing themselves one further in the tournament. And for Pznguin, it's business as usual. Championship Sunday usually means the grand finals for them one way or another. We're on board with Lqgend here. Bounds over towards the sniper, and StelluR's already got his hands on it.
He was in, he was out, he was doing the hokey cokey, and he has managed to pick up the sniper rifle. But as I said, look, battle rifle in hand to make sure he took that fight, and he did not give up the sniper rifle by trying to go for any stupid no-scopes. Instead, now he can get into a position where he can put that sniper to good use. Pznguin's there to help him. And now StelluR from Hotel is going to have a nice angle from blue spawns, but TchiK spots him out early. And even Bound might not be able to rescue it, which he cannot.
Sniper down in Hotel. Lqgend soars up driveway. Had it in 5th gear. Not looking to slow down. We promised you fast-paced gameplay, and that's exactly what you get, particularly if these two teams collide.
It's very interesting watching Quadrant in particular, who off spawn are always looking to take a gun engagement, always looking to try and help a teammate as Lqgend from top gold shuts down Pznguin. They have a 3-kill lead here. Ideally, if you can get a setup over towards kind of yard and posters and force the opposition into blue, then you're going to be in the better spot. Because it's very difficult to escape from blue, even if you're trying to dive out the windows. But what a push that is from Space Station. A nice collapse from yard and blue.
StelluR has got his grubby hands on that sniper rifle once more. That's going to be misery for Quadrant Europe as a whole. Station, bottom middle now on Prius. Couple of shots get rattled off, one to the body, Bounds there to capitalise on the damage. 2 down for Quadrant. And as quick as they had a 3-kill lead, they're down by 3 now. Make it 4.
Takes down a few players over towards Hotel. More Wi-Fi there than the Omni, and now 12-8 in favor of Space Station, and they are looking to get aggressive. Again, this is what we expect from Space Station. As soon as they see one player slightly out of position, it's flood, it's get in their face, it's get that first kill, because then you have the player advantage and you continue that push.
StelluR on driveway then. Face with Sica. TchiK's there to support. It's Space Station trade out 1 for 2. Make it 1 for 3. They'll do that all the live long day. 4-kill advantage. Now 5. Spawns behind them on loop. Bound gave it up and freed it for Quadrant to spawn there now. They're keeping this one frantic. As so often Solitude can be.
I think even though often Space Station and Quadrant, their gameplay is compared, and perhaps Quadrant learned a lot watching from SSG, I think the execution is a little bit more in favor of this SSG roster. I mean, they are champions, of course, so many grand finals, those pressure moments, SSG will never let you down. Whereas Quadrant can sometimes be a little bit guilty of feeling that pressure a little bit more, allowing it to get into their heads. And you have to feel as the longer this series, or sorry, the start of this series, there is always going to be that little bit of extra nerves on the Quadrant side. And I think Wes was completely right, clutch on the desk, saying the longer this series goes on, the more confidence Quadrant will gain. So Space Station need to be winning this Slayer. They have struggled in Slayer so far this tournament. If you can get game 2 under your belt and be 2-0 up, then you're going to be in a fantastic spot to take this series.
These two teams play heavy metal Halo. Bound up the lift. Nothing doing with the body or the head of the shot. Unfortunately, into a wall it goes. Still within 4. Quadrant still trying to apply pressure and doing so successfully. Bound forced all the way down to S1, isn't able to get a trade. That's important, as now they have somewhat of control of Snipe. Blue spawns appear to be closed for now. As I say that though, SSG will spawn over towards blue. The map is split almost completely in two.
So L-Town is earning his money as the observer backstage because this has been frantic between these two teams as TchiK gets yet another body shot, list the call-outs to clean up Bound, and suddenly just like that, it's 26-25. What did I say? As we get to 30, it's going to be very similar between these two teams, but who's going to be that one squad who actually gets a setup? Because at the moment, neither team has had a setup. It's been back and forth, it's been off-spawn, trying to help teammates. No one's really been able to take any sort of control so far.
This could be an opportunity to do just that. 3 dead for Quadrant. Blue will be the spawn point. Pznguin has just garnered that information. So where do Quadrant go from here? Do they turtle up, or do they make a coordinated push? Bound trying to force the issue. Clambering up into the window, face to face with one. Legends managed to just scamper away and get another big amount of damage onto Pznguin. TchiK's there to land a haymaker. 2 dead. 1 kill game.
Spacestation have to be careful of that. That's exactly what Quadrant want. When they are pinned back into blue, they almost are encouraging Spacestation to try a push, and then they're there waiting to just pounce on them. A little ambush comes from the French players there. And at 31-29, they can now escape that spawn. They can now start to think about trying to work sniper side instead. And maybe Spacestation can learn something. If Spacestation do get trapped into blue, perhaps they will try and do something very similar.
At the moment, Quadrant employing guerrilla warfare tactics. Get a kill, get out. Smash and grab. Take what you can get. They're reaping the rewards as it stands. As they now take the lead by just 1. Could be 2 and is. Elsewhere though. Spawn should be towards blue and are Bound. Will spawn up. Sica will put a little bit of damage into him, but not enough. Nothing significant. Pznguin will stick his head in the door, get that kill and get out of dodge.
Every time, Pznguin, you can just trust in him. He's been solid all tournament long and also very much in this series so far in his 1v1 engagements. He's always confident to push in alone. It's because he knows, even if he were to die, there is going to be a member from Spacestation there to clean it up. But this is what you want. Snipe control. TchiK now with the chance. We've seen what he can do on the main stage with this weapon in his hands. Let's see if he can pop off.
TchiK lands one to the body. Bound's S1, a little bit isolated from the rest of his team. That could be by design. Pznguin will back down to LR. Sica's just happy to sit around loop, wait for damage. Body shot will come and Sica immediately springs into action against that kill. Bound falls on Soda. StelluR rotates, decision to try and control Snipe. Unfortunately, he's going to be face to face with a couple of members of Quadrant very shortly. As a matter of fact, Legend's giving it up. SSG holds Snipe and Cafe. The rest of the map appears to be Quadrant's.
Really has been a fascinating watch between these two teams because they're both trying to employ such similar strategies. There is a slight worry for Quadrant getting stuck over towards Yard at the moment, but Spacestation are still trying to push the damage that they're outputting, and then Quadrant almost setting traps for them, waiting, banking nades, and then utilizing the nade damage to get the final kill. As SLG's got that sniper rifle yet again. The sniper has been in the hands of Quadrant more often, and they have a 4-kill lead. Perhaps that's one of the big reasons. They're now 6 away from taking this game. Make it 5.
5 kills required then. 2 down for Quadrant. They're all in and around tip. It's the time we need to find the ice. You give Spacestation a sniff, and they will take this win from you. They're already closing that gap within 3 now. Legend's gonna fall. TchiK's in big trouble of being his latest victim.
Oh, TchiK.
That's a massive 1v1 win.
I mean, for all I've said about Pznguin winning those engagements, how huge is that for TchiK? If he had gone down, it was very worrying, but Bound could be his next victim. 48-44, 2 more required for Quadrant.
2 kills is all it's gonna take to tie up the series. Legend in a fight, and he checks out StelluR early. Over on Hotel. Trade's not gonna be good enough here. Can Ego survive? He's trying to run away. SLG is falling elsewhere, but Legend gets the final kill. The series stands 1-1.
So Quadrant's undefeated record on Slayer Solitude continues, and SSG's woes on Slayer in general also keeps going here in Fort Worth. And with that being said, with how this series is going, and with how Slayers have been such a trouble for SSG, you fear now that they cannot allow this to go all the way to a Game 5. But with 2 objectives now coming up, this is where SSG always shine. But for Quadrant, they kept that very competitive throughout the entire game, but then were just able to break away once we got to around that 35 kill mark. They had the sniper a little bit more often, a couple of body shots were able to give them that extra player advantage. And one thing Quadrant did a lot better today that maybe they struggled a little bit when they took that loss yesterday was ensuring kills got traded out. You look at the kill feed and Lqgend would go down, but then SLG would get the responsive kill. Sica would go down, and then suddenly TchiK was there to get that final damage. It's what Spacestation do very well. It's what Spacestation communicate all the time together to make sure that damage is finally finished off. But Quadrant, they matched them there and actually excelled in some of the areas.
Quadrant's an incredible team because we never really know what we're going to get on any given day. They're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You clean sweep Optic on Friday, you get clean swept by Shopify Rebellion on Saturday. But they're here to play today against Spacestation game.
I mean, you could say the same about SSG. We saw them lose to LVT in pools. We saw them come second in their pool. But then suddenly they go and absolutely dominate the next day. It is so difficult to try and judge a team based off of a pool play performance because on Saturday they look different. Then on Championship Sunday is usually when teams come to life. This is where champions are made. Now SSG are the reigning champions from Salt Lake City and they would love to go back to back, and it would be heartbreak if they were to lose to a team like Quadrant, who have only ever reached 3rd as their best ever placement.
Game 3 kicked off. Nothing to separate the two as it stands. Deadlock in the series score, 1-1. SLG down to no shields for a moment, looking to try and get a trade. Bound ensures that will not be a possibility. Uh-oh. That man's got that sniper rifle once more. Overshield about to pop.
Oddball Lifer has been far better at mapping mode for Spacestation across the year than it has Quadrant. And it doesn't really surprise me when you know how good Spacestation are at executing breaks of setups. I think that's what makes SSG so good in any of these maps and modes. Setting up, a lot of teams are very good at, but SSG are one of the best at actually being able to puncture those setups and destroy them quickly, not allow the opposition to get any time. And StelluR again with that sniper rifle, always putting on a show.
Ball dropped.
StelluR's out here causing whiplash again. They have ball in hands. They had all of the sandbox goodies for a moment. Overshield, Heatwave, and Sniper Rifle were all in Spacestation's control. Overshield's gone down, as has the Heatwave bottom middle. Oh my! StelluR rattles the brain of Sica, sends him to the respawn screen. TchiK backs away, sacrificing a few more seconds of ball time here, and StelluR with eyes trained on cuts. And that's exactly where the push is coming from.
That's the difference maker. That sniper shot was everything for SSG. Quadrant, they pushed, they got 2 kills. Had StelluR not hit that shot, Quadrant probably break the setup, would at least be able to force a play ball, but instead now it's, what, 10 more, 15 more seconds going in favor of the yellow and black. Quadrant just need to be careful that they don't allow Spacestation to get too far ahead in these rounds, because otherwise they might just find themselves getting into a position where Spacestation just keep them at arm's length for the entire game.
Pznguin puts the ball in the touch. Reset, down bottom middle. SLG desperately trying to survive against the overshield player whilst also outputting some damage. Sica's on hand to make sure they get the trade. But it's 37 seconds to 1. SLG put his hands on ball, but it's not for long. It's bound. Shuts them down. 3 dead for Quadrant and 2 for SSG. Lqgend evens the odds and evens the score here.
Uses that shroud screen just to keep himself alive.
Enemy has the ball.
Such a great bit of equipment to be added to the game. We were wondering how much it was going to change the meta. Often it's used to give you coverage for the overshield, but it can just keep you alive at times to block that little bit of vision, make sure there's no red reticule as well, so you're not easily peppered from a distance. Lqgend still living here, by the way, as 4, make it 3, sorry, are dead for Spacestation. They're spawning over towards green.
Killing spree, pinning on Lqgend.
Great nade.
Lovely denial of the space. Put those 2 down on Big Door and back Spacestation up. Gets a kill. Turns towards Rat Tunnel. As he scurries away and his team move the ball and rotate. The call has come. StelluR will eventually put Lqgend away. TchiK's between a rock and a hard place. SLG on hand to get a double kill. Ball still belongs in the hands of Sica, but Bound's trying to change that now.
It's something that perhaps goes a little bit unnoticed at times, but it's making sure you're grabbing those new grenades. It's making sure you are getting the repulsor when it's available, because it can be the difference maker in not just an individual engagement, but as you say, taking space at times when you're being pushed in big door, getting a grenade down so that you can ensure they cannot push you in, they have to go elsewhere. As Quadrant are right back into this game now. 37-32, sniper rifle for TchiK. We've seen this one before.
SLG will fall on sandbags. TchiK patiently waits, or rather impatiently, for the overshield. Legend's there to provide support. Overshield's popped up, but TchiK will stick his head out a little bit too soon and will receive damage, and quite a lot of it to be exact. Overshield popped to the chest as Spacestation as Bound whisks that one away.
And sometimes the best equipment to help you can also be your biggest enemy. The shroud screen went down as Sica gets a double and he's trying to look for more.
Oh!
The triple was just a little bit too much for him. But they were still able to pick up the pieces and keep this competitive over towards the overshield side.
Enemy has the ball.
Ball in hands of SSG once more.
Enemy has the ball.
Moving the ball somewhat towards House, but StelluR has to drop it. Slays have gone against them. Repulsor being used once more. Bottom middle, SLG. With a couple more uses. That last use, in fact, is going to put him top middle and straight into the crosshairs of StelluR.
Ball dropped.
And after that scurry, after that skirmish, SSG have hands on ball once more.
Quadrant outslaying Space Station at the moment, but still down in that objective. Which is very apparent and very obvious that Space Station are more focused at the moment on getting those setups and getting that ball time when it's available to them. Quadrant perhaps guilty of looking for that perfect setup and haven't been able to find it just yet. Pznguin gets the play ball, and that's big. Again, you need that from your players. You need oh, he doesn't get the play, excuse me. Doesn't quite go off. The curve of the edge just holds that ball on, and that could be a huge difference changer here. A lifeline for Quadrant to get some crazy amount of ball time, because now they force the spawns over towards A. Overshield's coming up in 15 as well, so Space Station need to make a decision. Do we try and break the setup, or do we go for an Overshield setup?
Legend has shroud screen. Overshield in 4 as he eagerly awaits it. Ball's been played, but again, Bound is there to sneak this one away. Smoke screen goes down, but again, it's only to hinder himself. As Bound's got his second success of Overshield, but again, he's been absolutely lit up. 1 minute and counting down, and Pznguin's got the ball again.
Quadrant did really give up their setup to try and get an overshield. It didn't really work out for them. 2 have gone down on the side of Space Station though, so Quadrant should be able to at least try and force a play, but this is Pznguin at his best. One of the best objective players that we've had in the HCS for sure. Knows exactly when he needs to move that ball towards his teammates, and because StelluR hit that sniper shot, it's now allowed SSG to set up over towards tower once more.
Team nearing victory.
Pznguin like a mother hen, keeping his eggs safe.
Ball dropped.
SLG
Enemy has the ball.
drops bottom middle edge. Face to face with the plasma pistol. Slays have gone their favor. 3 dead. Bound has the heat wave though. Very quickly changed things. Double kill for him. Ball in the hands of Sica. StelluR's got a green spawn and a repulsor to play with. Gonna be face to face with SLG. Does enough damage, but receives quite a bit too. Has to have a look on big door.
Yeah, notice how quick StelluR was off spawn, because he knew there was 2 players that had gone down. He knew that Quadrant did not have any sort of setup, so he had to engage quickly to force them to get rid of that ball, to stop that time from being gobbled up. But it's great play from Quadrant to keep this one very tight over towards Obi's side, but Pznguin doing damage yet again. 3 go down for Quadrant. 30 seconds left in this round, and it's a 16-second lead.
SSG have the ball right where they need it. On scoreboard as they bring it back house. Pznguin here just trying to get information. 2 go down. Quadrant forced to overextend. They have no choice here. 3 dead for the boys in green. Bound will close out round 1.
Legend last remaining player, but cannot even get close to the ball. As Space Station show how good they are at those setups. They were outslayed, but it did not matter, because once they had that ball in any sort of control at tower, house, didn't matter where they were moving and grooving. And it was the sniper rifle shots again, just forcing Quadrant back every single time they pushed. So sniper control maybe needs to be more of a focus for Quadrant here.
Heat wave scooped up. StelluR continues to scavenge. Moves top middle. You know what he's looking for. He's like a magpie drawn to a shiny thing. TchiK on cuts. Gets evaporated into the dust particles. 3 dead. Sica trying to survive. Trying to be an influence. Bound has another overshield. 3 without reply.
I mean, you have to give Quadrant credit for how close this has been, considering how many overshields and how many snipes Spacestation have got. But that can be the difference maker at this level of Halo, is just that little bit of sandbox control. Heatwave as well, so often has been with Spacestation. Look at what Bound did in the previous round, the big double kill he was able to get in a 1 versus 2, just to make sure that no ball time was going to be easily gathered by Quadrant. Back tower, he's going to confidently take a fight because he has that extra shield as well, as Spacestation are still scoring here.
Quadrant all stuck towards green. Legend's gone down, as has Sica. Beautiful movement from Bound. Changing his trajectory and his elevation. Always making himself such a difficult kill. And here comes the cavalry to help him back tower. Snipe shots being rattled off. But the kills have gone in Quadrant's favor. But again, Bound drops down from top tower. But he's gone into the drink. Splish splash, he's taking a bath.
It's important you don't allow Bound to get the doubles there that he was able to in the previous round. Don't allow him to be that individually skilled monster that can make that difference. Sometimes you've got to face him with 3 players. You've got to know what you're going up against and respect the damage output that is on the opposition team. 2 are dead yet again. Could be 3 with StelluR being the next to fall. Overshield's coming up in 5. Can Quadrant finally get held of one? Pznguin caught out of position, and it should be Quadrant's. Finally, the Shroud is going to help them this time. Sica puts it in, but he's got to make sure he doesn't get backsmacked.
Sica chasing shadows. He was paranoid, and with good reason. StelluR and Eco will have to watch Pznguin and Bound do some work without them for a moment. Bound's been successful in getting 1. Spawns over towards tower for his teammates then. Sica in a 1v1 with Eco. Big brain wins.
Classic overshield overconfidence as well, I think, from Sica there. He had a little bit of shield, so he was wanting to march forward and fight into the engagement. Because he took that extra little bit of damage, it then opened up the chance for Spacestation to take him down and then advance, push onto this ball. A good setup for Quadrant. They get 35 on the board, but they're unable to get that ball over towards green and play it. So now Spacestation will get a chance to get a proper setup going. New snipe up in 5. If Quadrant allow this one to slip through their fingers again, Spacestation might be able to get an ideal setup, and then could go from bad for worse.
You spoke about outslayed. Quadrant of 72. Spacestation of 70 kills. But they already have a round in the bank and have a significant lead here of 30 seconds. Ball's been played. Reset to bottom middle. Eco scope trained on the pillar door. Nothing doing though. Instead, he's been hassled and pressed over towards the overshield side. And now, as he looks to go towards bottom middle, face to face with Legend, puts him away. Killing spree for Eco, the captain, leading by example.
And only 1 was down there, and Pznguin already was thinking about that ball because he trusted that Eco would do some damage over towards pillars, and Eco still alive with this sniper rifle. Much to the begrudging anger from the Quadrant side, because they just can't get rid of him. And every time they walk around a corner, they're getting bodied, and it's going to be another overshield now going for Spacestation. So another up by 30. Oh, if Sica had got that, that could have been huge for Quadrant. But Bound just able to do his best Matrix impression, dodges it.
Goes straight into a brawl. Bar fight. Gets 2.
Still alive.
Eco still has 4 bullets in the magazine to play with. Ball heads towards house. Eco confidently tries to take this fight to land the body. Will send himself elsewhere, but it's only to the death screen.
3 go down for Spacestation. StelluR quite rightly just pushes that ball out towards scoreboard. I think one thing that Spacestation have done better than Quadrant in this map is just keeping that ball away from their opposition, putting it into those really dangerous areas where if you want to get hold of it, you have to get probably all 4 dead, otherwise that final player can just bank a nade off the wall and shut you down. And then it gives the players who are spawning that chance to have a 3 versus 3 rather than be a 3 versus 4.
Ball reset once more. 75 to 35 on the scoreboard, 1:50 to play. Double kill for Pznguin, but Legend's got ball over towards tower. You requested they prioritize the tower setup. They've got somewhat of one here.
They have, but again, it was the last remaining player getting a double kill, and it's what's happened so many times to Quadrant. They've not been able to get the ideal setup, and oh, that bullet could have won the round, I think, for Spacestation, but now they've got to try and break green. Sica gets the opener, SLG will follow. Ika will at least get a somewhat of a trade, but now he's forced and pinned back into Big Door 2. Pznguin maybe uses this as a distraction, but what a bait that was. SLG just being a sneaky little Frenchman hiding around the corner.
Classic Frenchman antics. Smoke screen will not be used this time. Overshield's going to be grabbed the old-fashioned way. No, it's not. He's fallen. He's dropped it. And again, Bound gets the overshield.
It's the second time Quadrant have had a setup and sent one player over towards the OV. But at least this time they didn't commit too much. But it is going to be a break of setup as Bound now with sniper rifle and overshield. Probably doesn't want to be running with the ball. Double kill for him as well. Turns, wants to make it more, but just look at how good Bound is. He's got everything on the mind. Not is he only thinking about his teammates and where they're positioned and where that ball needs to go, but also can I help them with the sniper damage? Can I keep continuing to move this ball?
He's a Harlem Globetrotter, spinning the ball on one finger, hitting shots with the other. They have a slender lead. The clock dwindles down. SLG down to no shields. TchiK down to no shields. So important to hit those shots just to relieve pressure on your teammates. Legend goes down. All four go down. This could very well be the end. Sica down to no shields. SLG washed away. Final moments belong to SSG.
Sniper rifle control was absolutely everything for Spacestation there. You can see the difference it made. Just the body shots. It forced Quadrant back. It made them retreat from any push that they had. And it was a valiant effort from the French roster in Oddball Live Fire. But there's a reason why we've seen SSG have so much success on that map and mode. They just know how to get the business done, and it's just that extra little bit of sharpness, especially with the sniper rifle, especially with the control of the overshield. It just elevates them ever so slightly above this Quadrant roster on that map.
Score reads 2-0 Oddball Live Fire. But I tell you, those two teams were separated by 3 kills. But it speaks to the objective efficiency. It speaks to one man. Pznguin always has eyes on that ball.
Well, we move over to Capture the Flag, which has been a very interesting map and mode for Spacestation. They've not had as much success of flag captures as the likes of Quadrant. I've always attested to Quadrant being an amazing team at getting that flag out, and once it's out, getting it home with a 41.5% success rate of flag caps for the Quadrant team. I've even, unfortunately, had to go up against the likes of SLG and Legend in matchmaking and seen just how quickly they can move flags. But on Argyle, it's very different. It's not like your Aquarius where you can get that flag from A to B in a matter of moments. You need to have planning, you need to be efficient, you need to have setups. The biggest thing for Quadrant here is that there are 2 sniper rifles. It's not about sniper control and timing it and making sure you're winning that engagement. Instead, you will get given a sniper of your own consistently throughout that game. It's instead about hitting those shots and making the moment count.
Head-to-head, StelluR v Legend. Kills per game, 20. Just almost 21 for StelluR, and for Legend, 23. Both so important to their teams, both superstars in their own right. And for Legend, widely regarded as the best player in Europe. And Quadrant have the whole continent's hopes on their back as the rest of their team, the rest of Europe has fallen elsewhere. Taking a look at defending on Argyle CTF, Dan.
Yeah, this is where Spacestation do excel, is making sure they keep that flag at home. And if it is taken, very likely they will make sure they return it. A 76.9% return rate. Still not a bad one for Quadrant as well. But we are seeing that Quadrant are just a little bit more efficient at getting the flag out and getting it home. But with Spacestation being more efficient at defending it and returning it themselves, this could create for a very interesting CTF match. And if you are Spacestation, if you're a Spacestation fan, you don't want this to go to a Game 5. We've seen what's been happening for Slayers. We've seen how Game 5s have gone for SSG so far. You want this done in Game 4. Argyle CTF is often a chess game. It can be played slow, but we have 2 very fast-paced team. They're going to be getting that grapple. They're going to be getting those snipers. They're going to be getting in each other's faces. I'm just wondering, is anyone even going to be able to grab a flag with some of those stats that we saw?
Well, the form StelluR was in Salt Lake City, particularly on this map, some of the shots he was hitting were criminal. I'm excited to see how he puts it to use here in Game 4. And on the other side, will it be TchiK who has hands on? Or have they trusted it in the hands of somebody else? But StelluR looking to get aggressive straight away.
I am always intrigued when I watch a sniper player as which angles they take, whether they first position themselves, because it's all about being unpredictable and trying to out-snipe the opposition and trying to out-angle them almost, surprise them, getting into a position where you can catch them off guard a little bit. StelluR's yet to be able to find anyone right now, and he's seeing action go down, he's seeing kills being found by teammates, but he's just having a little look around. He has finally found the opposition sniper, and it's SLG, who's been entrusted with a sniper rifle on the Quadrant side, and we have seen what SLG can do on this map. He knows what angles to be taking, but StelluR at the moment is doing some good damage, getting those body shots, which is allowing SSG to slowly push their way up this map, but SLG just sends them right back home.
What a year SLG has had. The best of his career. So much of Halo 5. He was the second and third best player, best team in Europe. He's finally found the fit with these boys, and they're absolute monsters.
He's had his time to shine, but if they want to be considered a top 4 team, they need to beat someone else other than Optic Gaming. It's been a great rivalry with the Green Wall, but now Optic, they're still in the winner's bracket. It's other sites that Quadrant have to set their eyes on. And Spacestation, a very difficult task, of course, the reigning champions from SLC. But Argyle CTF has been a good mapping mode for Quadrant. They're 7-2 across this year at the moment. So they know how to get the job done here, but Spacestation just, they can punish you. Any little mistake you make, and now look at this. Quadrant, they're forced into the back flag, and the flood comes in.
SSG encroach on the base. Lqgend dips away. He's picked up the sniper rifle, but not for long. Pznguin knew exactly where he was going, headed him off the pass. TchiK will get a one onto StelluR. SLG will trade it out as well. That means the early pressure that SSG will amount to nothing.
First one whiffs, second one does as well, and then SLG gets caught with his pants down a little bit. Stood right out on the balcony, and then it means he'll just have to rescue that sniper rifle when he spawns. Argyle is a very difficult map to try and play. You really need to recognize whether you have the presence on the map with the team. Are you attacking? Are you defending? Sometimes it feels like one flag, honestly. You are just sitting back, defending for your life, trying to stop the other team from pressuring you.
I'm sorry, but did you say SLG was standing on a balcony with his pants down? Is that what I heard?
I did say that, yeah, which means a very different thing in America than it does in England, so that's good.
Lqgend with snipe. Top screens, hesitant to move forward. The damage just isn't there. SSG are now back to a full complement of players. They know exactly where Lqgend is. SLG will meet him. They're just playing defense here. They're doing so successfully, but not really threatening any sort of attack at the moment.
Good shots from Eco. Can make it a triple as well. It's one of those where when you see your teammate get a triple, you know then you've got map control. You know you can start to press a little bit more. It's important, Argyle, you are pressing the same side. It'd be very easy to just flank around on your own and think you can get an angle, but then you leave your teammates sometimes in a 3 versus 4. And then suddenly you might see that flag start to be moving on the other side, and then you have a lot of responsibility to try and send it home.
Snipers popping up imminently. Eco looking to steal. Quadrant sniper here. The grapple failed him. We'll have to talk to Wayne Enterprises about that. Batman's one never does that, I promise you. Pznguin has the snipe. Lqgend goes. Bye-bye.
I mean, if we do see Spacestation win this series, and it's because of sniper rifle shots again here on Argyle, I think Sniper is going to be the MVP. And those who are firing those shots, of course, the actual MVP. It was the difference maker in the previous game, and it very much could be the reason why Spacestation win this series here on Argyle. They've been consistently hitting their shots, and now they've got a flag moving as well. It's a trade 1-for-1. StelluR tries to get the flag out. Pznguin trying to give him adequate cover here, but Sica is able to get the kill, and there you go, flag going back home. There's Argyle in a nutshell. If you make any little mistake, if you allow the other team to get one little slay, often that flag has to stop being run.
7 minutes remaining. Spacestation have had a little bit better in the early engagements, but nothing to show for it on the scoreline. Quadrant translocator is up. Pznguin just baiting it for now. TchiK and Lqgend have got a couple of kills. 3 down. Pznguin lands a body. Tries to get the finish on the Lqgend and does. Backs away. Prioritizing surviving here. He's the furthest man forward for SSG.
Quadrant do seem to be on the back foot a little bit, and I'm wondering whether their comms are frantic, whether they're calm, and the best way to find out, let's go to a listen it.
T'as un joueur à droite, ouais. Bête-les, laisse finir. Fais gaffe, alors Vent,
Un mec qui avance, peut-être trichez-nous sur toi, Lqgend.
Ok.
On va.
Et j'avance maintenant.
Y'a un mec sur leur snipe, oui, quel leur instinct, go. Vraiment,
Je peux pas pusher, ils ont le cross.
Un autre flanc,
S2 pour toi.
Oh, un autre flanc.
2 S2, 40 kg.
Sans envie, je sais pas si
2 S2 qui vont cut.
Et y'a un mec L. L. Mets-toi en L chez eux.
Y'a peu de shot, on a pas one shot.
Y'a un autre L.
Ouais, on a plan.
Je veux notre snipe.
En gros, j'ai mort.
Je joue un grappin.
Le sniper leur instinct.
Leur quick. One shot leur sniper. Va, leur
Sniper leur instinct, sniper leur instinct, one shot ici qui va remonter en flag,
Ok, faut qu'on avance à même side.
Y'a un sniper
Reste
leur plasma.
accro coil, on va avancer à gauche.
Ça pour Seb.
Alors S2 le snipe.
Ok, j'avance, y'a un mec basement qui va bail beau.
Sur le plasma, attention.
Alors je n'ai là.
Toujours à l'oreille, toujours à l'oreille.
Moi je t'ai le beau.
Encore. Alors prends Apollo, il va sidekick. Ils ont me tué.
Sidekick, toujours one shot.
Tu sais, 2 leur S2, 2 flags, les derniers. 2 top flags côté S2. Snipe,
Encore, c'est leur S2 le snipe.
Run basement. Ignore-le.
L'oreille, je regarde.
Tu vas.
Ok, faut stay. Ah, il peut run basement.
Alors flag.
Un top flag, il traverse l'eau.
Toujours S2 chez eux, ils sont 2.
Il bait pour le snipe.
Un mec S2 qui va TV.
S2 le snipe, je reback, j'ai qu'une
Les gars,
balle.
faut counter, ouais, mourrez pas. Les gars, faut counter.
And actually, as we jumped into that listening, Quadrant started to get a little bit more map control. I understood a few things as well. Key door, L, long snipe. There were some things I was able to relate to.
One shot was there
One
as
shot, top flag. You know, there's a few English callouts in there. Respect them! As Lqgend still hitting shots with his sniper rifle.
Neither team able to break the deadlock. It's been a stalemate for so long. Bound drops down to the basement and clears out one. This is exactly what you expected these two teams collided on Argyle. So little to separate them. Plays going back and forth. Both teams having some semblance of control at different times in the game, but right now, they're just cancelling one another out.
I mean, when Spacestation had an average pull rate of 0.9 against them on Argyle, and Quadrant had an average pull rate of 1 against them on Argyle, you're not going to see many flags pulled because both teams are very good at making sure they defend accordingly when they are on the back foot. 3 dead though for Spacestation, but again, Pznguin cleans up the one player who is a real threat. Could even clean up another one here, and he will. As Pznguin, the last remaining player, holds off Quadrant, and that's why we're not seeing flags get pulled at the moment, because individually, every player on this map has the ability to do that.
Pznguin holds the line. StelluR has that sniper rifle. Once more. Sica figures that out the hard way. He scampers away bottom middle. We have had a flag pull on the side of SSG. And a couple of slays have gone their way, but flag carrier has fallen. The flag will die.
You get excited when a flag gets pulled because you think this could be the moment. SSG maybe with StelluR, sell it with a sniper rifle again, but once more, individually, there is a member of Quadrant waiting in the wings to take the flag runner down, as well as another player who may be alongside them. You need your sniper players to maybe get a little bit more aggressive and to start hitting these shots to allow everyone else to press up and get a flag pull together. It cannot be a flag pull on a whim here at Argyle. It has to be a proper setup. You need to be making sure you get at least 3 dead, if not 4, before that flag is moving.
StelluR still threatening the Quadrant boys with the sniper rifle. Not finding faces, but connecting with bodies. That's enough to stop them in their tracks. SLG is finding faces, however. Top middle, Lqgend down to no shields now. StelluR will be called out, and TchiK has a flag on the move, but Lqgend gone down thanks to a Hail Mary grenade. It's a 1v1 between TchiK and StelluR. And StelluR's gonna win this one, and might get two and does!
I know what TchiK was trying to do. He recognized SLG was with him, so he wanted to toss that flag just in case SLG could win the fight. But had maybe TchiK just faced with the BR a little bit earlier, they might have been able to get the kill, but I'll be honest, either way, that flag is probably stopped anyway. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. 1 minute 55 left on the clock. Quadrant really trying to push the narrative, trying to make sure they can get in that base. They want to get to a game 5 here.
SSG have 58 kills, Quadrant have 56. So evenly matched. 1 minute and 30 with some change left in the game. And if neither team can get a flag cap, we will be going to overtime. Who could bet against it? SLG gets the opening pick in this push. Trying to find Eco. He's been chased, he's been hassled, he's been pressed. They want that sniper rifle out of his hands. They haven't been successful in their pursuit though, as StelluR spawns over towards Snipe. And now the Quadrant push is completely gone, as SLG recognizes that and just wastes the sniper rifle ammo.
Sniper gone, have a little grapple to get away as well. Just make sure you do not allow the other team to have any extra sniper bullets. The scary thing is when you get to this scenario where next flag essentially wins, and as we go into overtime it will officially be next flag wins. One step the wrong way. If you overextend just a little bit, if you try and get too aggressive and get punished, a counter cap could be on the horizon. It's a very big map, but with the right positioning, counter cap could be possible. 3 are dead for Quadrant, but Bound again goes down. Lqgend perfectly baiting and waiting in the wings to shut him down.
25 seconds remain. And it's SSG who hold large portions of the map for the moment. Lqgend will fall, as will TchiK. StelluR went down as well. Sica's got a bit of a backstab here. That was a pivotal kill for him. Flag's been returned and sent back home. As we count down the final moments of regular time, Penguin's got the back base in control, and Quadrant's base is under siege.
It's a tie, it means we will be heading into overtime. It was a valiant effort in the final stages from Spacestation, but Quadrant, they dug their heels in and made sure they did not allow Spacestation to get anywhere outside of the base with that flag. So we reset, another 5 minutes on the clock, and we'll see whether either team can have a better starting strategy. Sometimes the starting strategy and a restart can be the best way to get into your opposition's base. Maybe you can get a couple of those opening kills with grenades, and then you can get aggressive. Then you can start to set up as Bound now using the QT to his best advantage to keep out of firing line.
SLG, beautiful grenade, anticipating exactly where Bound was going to be, but he QTs back once more, and SLG will fall. And here comes the SSG push, as the Quadrant base is under siege, and Quadrant are wilting. Still have 2 on the death screen. Lqgend will go down, but he gets Penguin in the process. Bound trying desperately to keep this flag alive. He knows how important progress can be, and unfortunately he's going to fall.
This is where it gets tough on Argo though, when you're under this amount of pressure, where it's swarm after swarm, constantly fighting like you're in horde mode at times. And a horde mode with Spacestation Gaming sounds terrifying, if I'm honest, as Penguin's gonna be the next one to arrive. But the flag has been sent back, and it looks like Quadrant are going to survive here. And now they can reset in the middle of the map, as Penguin recognizes that it is gonna be difficult for him to press up without his teammates, but the counter snipe's there. TchiK gets denied.
It's been an absolute dogfight. Again, Quadrant go 3 dead. They have 2 members up now. Penguin's happy to hold the mid-map. StelluR heads towards the flag. Down to half shields. Quadrant immediately sending one to overextend. Maybe anticipating this flag is going to be pulled. Sica gets his shields ripped away. SLG in a 1v1 against StelluR, as Penguin tries to help him cross map. They're getting the kills they need, Quadrant, just to postpone this flag pull. But it has finally got hands on, and Eco will go down as Penguin locks in a killing spree.
Penguin locks it in, but TchiK gets another. Again, I thought that maybe StelluR could be the next to try and run this flag, but Quadrant will hold on. They're being outslayed now by about 10 kills off Quadrant. Spacestation starting to get into a new gear here. I think they realize that they can't just play at an average level, their normal level. They have to kind of step up a little bit and show us why they were the champs of Salt Lake City. Usually, when it's Championship Sunday, first game of the day, maybe it's not going to be an opponent who is going to run you this ragged, that's going to run you this close, but SSG realizing Quadrant are a formidable opposition here. And this has been such a tough game for either team to be able to break into that base, but it has been Spacestation who have been the more likely to get a flag.
It's time for Quadrant to apply some pressure of their own, but as I say that, they will lose 2. Sica isolated over towards the sniper side, Lqgend in the basement, trying to push them back. SLG has gotten a very important kill, as has Sica, just to defend the base. As snipe shots ring out across Argyle, SLG has managed to find a sniper rifle, but not for long. 3 dead for Quadrant now, Bound's moving in.
This could be the best chance they have. Bound with a sniper rifle, if he can connect with one, might give him the room to maybe pull that flag. SLG spawns over towards snipe, but will get out of dodge as Lqgend takes one to the body. Killing spree for Bound. They're getting more aggressive as we go on for Spacestation. 3 are dead yet again. Sica, the last remaining player. Bound starts moving this flag, but cleverly works with the team. All of Spacestation starting to flood now. Pznguin holding top middle. This is their best chance, if ever, to get a flag on the move, but Quadrant still holding strong.
Quadrant hold the line. They quell the push. 3 dead. They can now move forward. 1 minute and 10 left here.
Enemy flag returned. 1 minute remaining.
SLG uses the QT. He's top middle now, surveying the land, getting information. TchiK's got snipe. Bound applies pressure, but backs up eventually to his own side. Drop down bottom middle, in fact. Eco in the vent, as SLG just pings him. He's gonna leak through here. This could be a very, very important play.
Spacestation threw everything and the kitchen sink at Quadrant.
30 seconds remaining.
If Quadrant were able to maybe get a pull and steal this away, it would be miraculous for them. SLG has a lot of responsibility here, though. He can't afford to go down. He might actually have to be a distraction here, because now SSG know there's a player advancing on them. They have the extra player to be able to push into the flag, but SLG gets a big kill. 10 seconds remaining. We may well be resetting this one for even more overtime between 2 teams who just could not break one another. Try as they might, did Spacestation. They're going to go for one last opportunity, as that could be a big kill for Rico. Flag starts to move. He's got a little bit of cover, but SLG will take down one. Lqgend with a second.
One last roll of the dice then. Eco's got another. The pie chart's starting to spin. They need to keep this flag alive. They need to keep inside it. Can he get a touch? The answer is no. We will be resetting this game.
What an absolute mammoth game we just witnessed on Argyle. Between 2 teams who are giants at defending their flag. But I will say, it was very much Quadrant on the back foot throughout the majority of that game. They did try. There were some times where Quadrant were able to push up and try and take a flag of their own. But I think it was frustration for SSG. They really tried everything to get into that base. But it was closed. It was locked off. It was barricaded. Everything you could possibly put in front of that flag was there for Quadrant.
What a game. And we get to do it again, Dan. We get to run this one back. Neither team able to put together enough sustained pressure to get a flag capture here. Both teams ultimately cancelling one another out. Plays were made, but they just weren't enough. Snipe shots were hit. They were connecting all the while. But just a testament to how good these 2 teams are.
Quadrant got outslayed 104 to 91. It was Spacestation's control. Very rarely did you see Quadrant kind of stood top middle like Pznguin was, like StelluR was, where they were freely looking on to their teammates, trying to assist them with their flag. But Quadrant always had that one little player just waiting to get that kill onto the flag guy. And even though Spacestation came close at times to getting that flag moving, they never even got it past the halfway line. And I think that bodes well for Quadrant in a way that they are matching the reigning champions on this map and mode, but you can only defend for so long. We go into a reset, 12 minutes back on the clock, but it is next flag wins. First flag will win the game for either team here. Of course, if Spacestation get it, that means that they'll be heading into the top 4. If Quadrant get it, we're heading into a game 5.
It's golden cap then. 3 dead for Quadrant. It was a great start, although it appeared to be a great start, but eventually, again, you speak about that one player getting that trade, and it's happened again.
And again, it's StelluR just holding top middle. Something that Quadrant haven't been able to do as effectively. But StelluR recognizing his teammates were a little bit behind him, so he just steps back. You don't really want to be pressed and surprised over towards pistol. The last thing you want to happen on this map is giving away the sniper, and if either of these teams get 2 snipers in their hands, that's when I'd start to fear for the other, because that's when you can start to really demoralize them, slay after slay as you slowly advance towards the flag. But that's a big kill for StelluR. He's still moving forward. He's got Bound alongside him as well. TchiK and Lqgend, though, have pressed up, so if they can get these kills in this base, the flag could maybe be on the move.
StelluR's made his way back towards top snipe. SLG recognizing they're in a bit of trouble, they're in a pickle. TchiK will fire some shots over towards StelluR, who will immediately back all the way to mid-map. Re-peek from screens. Pznguin's got one here though, and he stays alive inside the base. 3 go down for Quadrant, and SSG have flag on the move.
Yeah, Lqgend's nowhere to be seen, nowhere near this flag. Now Quadrant have to overextend, but StelluR shuts down the first spawner. There is so much on Lqgend. If Lqgend goes down, this cap's done. This cap's done.
Lqgend has fallen. The flag will continue to move, and StelluR will continue to wreak havoc as SSG win and push themselves forward. Incredible.
Frustration on the side of Quadrant. A long old game of Argyle CTF that goes into double overtime, then ripped away from you just like that. But it was SSG who looked the better team, especially on Argyle CTF. They were the ones trying to get the flag moving. Quadrant constantly on the back foot defending. And it's another top 6 finish for Quadrant, which I remember once upon a time we were all elated with a top 6 for Quadrant and what they'd achieved. But after the dizzy heights of top 3, top 6 still feels like a little bit of a disappointment for this roster, who know they are good enough to match some of the biggest teams in North America. But our reigning champs, Spacestation, they hold on, they survive, they are still in the elimination bracket. They have secured top 4 minimum, and now they'll wait to see who they'll be facing in that elimination bracket semi-final. The likes of FaZe, the likes of Shopify were going up against each other, may still be going up against each other, and they'll have to wait to see who they'll be going up against.
Confirmation of the final score then. Spacestation win game 1, 3, and 4. With Quadrant taking the Slayer, that Achilles heel of SSG is still ever present.
It is. I think that Slayers are going to be a big issue for Spacestation as we move forward into Championship Sunday, and they have to make sure they try and take that game too, because even though they're amazing at objectives and they have been able to push Quadrant aside, it's not going to be the same when you're up against a FaZe, when you're up against an Optic. They have to lock down some of these Slayers, otherwise they're really going to struggle.
Spacestation Gaming still have a little bit of work to do here on Championship Sunday, and Blaze has an interview with Bound.